Hello everyone, welcome to a new chapter. This is chapter 17 and the topic for today is gerunds and infinitive. Please open your books on page 97. We are going to start with a reading. Culture, working teenagers in the US. Here you have the second part of the reading. And this is the first exercise of the class. Number 1, read and listen to the information, then write T for true, F for false, or NM for not mentioned. Let's start.
Unit 6, Track 56, Activity 1.
Working teenagers in the U.S. Many American teenagers look for part-time jobs in the U.S. to help support their families, to save for college, or simply to earn some extra money for personal expenses. However, there are some facts which employers must consider when hiring a teen. There are some rules the American Department of Labor sets for working teenagers, and these rules vary according to the age of the minor and the job involved. As a general rule, the Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, establishes an age limit, 14 years of age, as the minimum age for employment, and also prohibits a minor from working in hazardous job positions such as work involving driving, operation of power-driven equipment, and agricultural work. It is also important to check working hours. 14 and 15-year-olds can only work 3 hours a day, 18 hours in a school week, 8 hours on a non-school day, and 40 hours during a non-school week. Teens in that age group are allowed to work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and no later. However, students ages 16 and 17 can work unlimited hours. When they turn 18, they can work unlimited hours and hazardous jobs are not a problem. Although the American law does not forbid teens from working, parents must monitor their children to make sure they are not spending too much time at work and leaving their studies behind.
Very well, so let's start answering. Option A, American teenagers look for a part-time job for no specific reasons. This is false. Option B, the Department of Labor sets rules for working teens starting at age 14. This is true. Option C, parents must sign a legal document giving permission for their teen to work. This is not mentioned. Option D, 14 to 15 years old can only work 3 hours a day, 18 hours in a school week, 8 hours on a non-school day, and 40 hours during a non-school week. This is true. Option E, the American law forbids teens from working. This is false. Finally, option F, all part-time working students have good grades at school. This is not mentioned. On exercise number 2 and 3, we have a personnel criteria question. On part number 2, it says, can things work in your country? What does the law say about it? Question number 3, do you think it is a good idea to have a part-time job while in high school? Why or why not? Remember to answer these questions personally. We're moving on to page 98. This is vocabulary 2, word verbs. Exercise number 1, match pictures from 1 to 3 with verbs in the box. Use your dictionary if necessary. So, the pictures we have here, let's go back. Picture 1 can be matched with have a full-time job and work part-time. Picture number 2 matches with have a full-time job and work part-time too. Finally, picture number 3 matches with get a pension. Now let's listen and repeat.
Unit 6, Track 57, Activity 2.
Apply for a job.
Apply for a job.
Be unemployed.
Be unemployed.
Claim expenses.
Claim expenses.
Earn a salary.
Earn a salary.
Fill in an application form.
Fill in an application form.
Get a job.
Get a job.
Get a pension.
Get a pension.
Have a full-time job.
Have a full-time job.
Have an interview.
Have an interview.
Lose a job.
Lose a job.
Sign a contract.
Sign a contract.
Work part-time.
Work part-time. Exercise number 3. Match from A to D with 1 to 4 to make sentences. Let's start. A4. My mom loves her job. She can claim expenses for all her meals and travel. Option B, number 2. Can you help me fill out this application form for a weekend job? Option C. 1. My brother is unemployed, but he has an interview today. Option D. 3. My sister lost her job when the company closed down. Exercise 4. Complete the questions with the verbs in the box. And the verbs we have in the box are applied, earn, get, and has. Let's start with option A. My uncle always wears a suit when he has a job interview. Option B. Do you want to earn a high salary? Option C. Have you ever applied for a job? Option D. Is it difficult to get a job where you live? Reading number 2, page 98, exercise 1. Read the leaflet and listen. What is an apprenticeship? Option A. A way to learn about a job and get experience. B. A way to earn a lot of money.
Unit 6, Track 58, Activity 1.
Try an apprenticeship. Finding a job can be difficult when you have no experience in the world of work. So before applying for a job, why don't you get some work experience while you're still at school? You can do a summer apprenticeship. Summer apprenticeships might involve some training as well as practical experience of working in a job you think you might enjoy. Your boss will supervise your work and help you learn new skills. There are lots of different job opportunities to choose from. Think about the skills you have and what types of jobs you might enjoy. Do you enjoy working with animals? You could apply to do an apprenticeship at the local zoo. Or if you love playing soccer and tennis, you might want to work as a sports coach for children at a summer camp. Apprenticeships usually last for 1 month, and there are apprenticeship schemes all over the U.S. for students aged 16 to 18. What are you waiting for? Apply for an apprenticeship now.
So, what is an apprenticeship? According to the leaflet, it is a way to learn about a job and get experience, so option A. Let's move on to exercise number 2. This is the leaflet we just read. Read the leaflet again and answer the questions. Option A. What does an apprenticeship involve? Well, it involves some training as well as practical experience of working in a job you think you might enjoy. Option B. Which jobs does the leaflet mention? Working at the zoo, a sports coach. Option C. Who can do an apprenticeship? Students aged from 16 to 18. We're skipping a page on to 99. Grammar number 2, gerunds and infinitives. Exercise 1. Read the sentences. Circle the verbs in the infinitive form and underline those in the gerund form. Let's start with option A. Finding a job can be difficult when you have no experience in the world of work. The gerund in this case is finding. Option B. Do you enjoy working with animals? The infinitive here is working, so you should underline it. Option C, you could apply to do an apprenticeship at the local zoo. In this case, we have an infinitive, is to do. Option D, you might want to work as a sports coach. We also have an infinitive here, it's to work. So we circle this part. Finally, option E, summer apprenticeships might involve practical experience of working in a job. So finally we have a gerund, which is working. So we underline this part. Part number 2. Look at examples in the charts and then match them with the sentences below. Option A. Gerund says the subject of a sentence. Finding a job can be difficult. Gerunds after verbs. Option B. Do you enjoy working with animals? Now, gerunds after prepositions. Option C. Example, before applying for jobs, get some work experience. In this case, the preposition is before. Infinitives after verbs. Option D. Did you learn to speak Italian at school? So we have the infinitive to speak after the verb learn. Finally, infinitives after adjectives. Option E. Example, he is happy to meet you at 10 o'clock. So here the adjective is happy. As you can see, we have the infinitive to meet after the adjective. Now let's do the matching. Here we have 5 sentences and we're going to match them with each one of the examples we just read above. So the first one, no, I learned French instead. This belongs to example D, infinitives after verbs. Number 2, that's perfect, I'll be there on time. This belongs to example E, infinitive after adjectives. Sentence number 3, I sure do, especially dogs and cats. This belongs to example B, gerunds after verbs. Number 4, I know. It took me 2 years to find a new job after my long stay in Europe. This matches with example A, gerunds as the subject of a sentence. Finally, thank you for the suggestion. I'll start sending out my resume. This belongs to example C, gerunds after prepositions. Exercise number 3. Use gerund or infinitive forms of the verbs in the box to complete the sentences below. Let's start completing. Option A. Being rich doesn't make you happy. Here we are using a gerund. Option B. I want to see that movie. Here we are using an infinitive. Option C. Working long hours makes me feel tired. Gerund. Option D. Living in a house in New York is very expensive. This is a gerund. He'd like to travel to Asia. This is an infinitive. On exercise number 4, we found the Elico workshop of this chapter. Complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs in parentheses. Remember to use gerunds or infinitives on each case when it's appropriate. So page 99, exercise number 4, from option A to option E, Elico workshop, Elico taller, Elico workshop, Elico taller, page 99, exercise 4, grammar 2. Exercise number 5. Underline the correct verbs to complete the dialogue. Let's start. Option A, wearing. Option B, going. Option C, to wear. Option D, looking. Option E, being. Option F, to see. Option G, to give. Option H, to take. Page 100. Write in a letter of application. Read and listen. Why is Louise writing to Universal Computers? Let's answer the question from the recording. Let's start.
Unit 6, Track 59. Activity 1.
Dear Sir, Madam, I'm writing to apply for a work experience position at Universal Computers. I am 14 years old and currently in 9th grade at Highfield School. I am taking my exams in May and plan to continue studying at school for the next 4 years. In the future, I would like to study business in college. I have been interested in computers since I was 8 years old. I can use Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, and I am also learning to write computer programs. My favorite subjects at school are ICT and art, especially graphic design. I am a hard-working and responsible person, and I am sure that I will learn a lot from working with your company for 2 weeks. I would be very grateful if you could send me more information about your company and the work experience position. I am enclosing my resume and a reference from my ICT teacher. I am available to attend an interview. I look forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Louise Green.
Very well. So why is Louis writing to Universal Computers? Because he wants to apply for a work experience position. Let's move on to exercise 2. Read the letter again and answer the questions. Take your time to read the letter again and answer the questions. Option A. What does Louise want to do in the future? She wants to study business in college. Option B. How long has she been interested in computers? Since she was 8 years old. Option C. What relevant skills does Louise have? She can use Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, and she's also learning how to write computer programs. Option D. What personal qualities does she have? She is responsible and hardworking. Option E. What does Louise ask for? More information about the company and the work experience position. Option F. What is she sending with her letter? Her resume and a reference letter from the ICT teacher. Language focus box. These are some of the expressions we generally use when we're writing a job application letter. Dear Sir or Madam. This is for saying hi or greeting the person. I am writing to apply for. This is to start the letter. I will be very grateful if. I am enclosing. This is when you add some extra information or maybe a documentation to the letter. I look forward to hearing from you. This is a goodbye expression. Yours faithfully. And finally, you write down your name. On page 100, exercise number 3, we have the Elico homework of the week. Elico homework, Elico tarea. Elico homework, exercise number 3 on page 100. Order the words to make sentences from option A to option E. Exercise 4. Write a letter applying for a work experience position at a company in your town from 150 to 170 words. Let's check on the following box with the steps we're going to follow. Writing a letter of application. Step 1. Plan. Decide what company you want to write to. What relevant skills do you have? Think about what information you want from them and what to send with the letter. Step 2. Write. Write a first draft. Include information about your experience and personal qualities. Step number 3. check. Check your work. Have you concluded your letter appropriately? Remember to use the expressions from the job application letter box. Under step 4, write your final copy and hand in your work. And that was it. So have fun studying, and we will meet again next chapter. Goodbye, guys. Take care a lot. See you next time.